Match between Mike Helmer and Brian Butler. This is one loss side action, seventh, eighth place match. And again, no more SVB. He's out. Young Skylar Woodward dispatched of him in the prior match. So two players you probably have not seen here on the stream, but believe me, if you're in the top 8 of a 221 player division with the kind of quality field that we have here, you certainly belong. And of course, Brian Butler, you see racking there, was very gracious this week to sit in and do some commentary with me and with Scott Frost during some of the one pocket stuff. And I've worked with Brian before. We've done a lot of that stuff together over the years. He's really very, very knowledgeable and articulate, and I was happy to have him with him, and he's welcome to join us back in here later in the day, but he doesn't want to because that would mean he's been eliminated. Brian is from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I'll give you just a little bit more on him and on Mike here as we get underway. So we're going to go every 90 minutes now, 2:30, 4, 5:30, and 7. I believe 7 will be the finals. I'll get a reconfirmation on that for you before we get underway in the next match. Second ball break here for Brian. That break is the break that's been working here at least most of yesterday and part of today in the 8-ball. And the solids look better here. The 5-ball is just the ball you need to maneuver to get to. And you might just go 3 rails for it right now. And then, of course, the 6, I mean, is the other ball on the other side cushion, and he has access to that. Brian has played a lot of snooker in his life in Canada. And as much as I know him and we've done a lot of commentary together, I've not really seen him actually play pocket billiards very much. So it might be a touch hard to predict some of the things pattern-wise that he might do. But he's a very strong player nevertheless. And a really nice pattern played by Brian right out of the gate here. You can kind of see sort of a snooker style stance. Not square up to the table like, you know, like Allison Fisher or Karen, where they're, you know, pretty much squared up. But you can see the cue tucked in close under the arm, hand way back. And can't argue with success. Well, first rack in the books. All right, this is Mike Helmer coming to the table now to rack. First time on the TAR stream for Mike, but he has played in a number of these events, US bar tables. He's played in all the ones we've had here. He played in some at the Sands. Mike is from Fort Collins, Colorado. And he and his wife, who I believe is sitting over there behind his player chair, they own a pool room in Fort Collins called Matchups. Very kind of nice name for a pool room. You know, there's lots of semi-common names for pool rooms, and they always have, you know, some form of cute little reference to our game in it. And this is just one that I hadn't heard before, and it just struck me as a really attractive name for a pool room. Matchups in Fort Collins, Colorado. They've owned it for about 12 years. Mike said the pool room itself has been there for some 30-odd years. Now he's going straight on the rack here. A lot of power in that break. And he made a ball. And first look here would be solid, starting with the 5-ball. That will clear the path for the 1. We go 5-6-4 here and then work his way down. The only stripe he could take would be the combination up there if he wanted to go with the stripes, but I wouldn't play that 13 into the 12 because maybe that's the 10, but nevertheless, I'm not sure I like where the 13 might go. I do know that Dennis Urculio got eliminated last round by his road partner, Carlo Beato. So there's 8 players left. We know Corey's in the hot seat. We know Stan Tarango's in the left side hot seat. That's 2 of them. We got these 2 right here. We got Carlo, Skylar Woodward. And I'm sorry to say, I just don't remember the others. Mike got himself into a little bit of a bind here. Can't bank the 1 because the 11's in the way. Not a real good place to hide the cue ball either. He has called it cross side. Maybe it barely squeaks by. If it does, it's just got to miss the 11 by a layer of paint. Yeah, I think he was playing mostly try to hide the cue ball down there and lock him on the 10, but unfortunately, the cue ball found the bottom of the cup. Brian's looking at the 8 right now to see if it passes the 2. He's not concerned about the rest of the stripes. To me, it looks very close. And even on that camera angle, it's still a little bit hard to tell. Now he can move the 2 ball maybe right now and then shoot the 14 next. But if the 8 goes up table, once the stripes are all out of the way, that's a possibility as well. Micah's shot selection, he could have come up a little bit better, but he'll be able to play the 11 ball and just let the cue ball go 2 reels over and out. Have maybe the 9 or the 10 next. Smart shot again by Brian, though. Now, Andy and Justin have told me that probably within a couple of weeks, everything we've streamed here will be up on YouTube. Just got to give them a little time to make all that happen for you, but it's not going to be just selected matches. Everything we streamed, and I think we're probably into our 35th to 40th match here. As far as streaming is concerned, all of that stuff will get up on YouTube here in probably a couple of weeks' time. So you'll be able to go back and take a look at your favorite player or who you might have been rooting for. Now, the 9-ball, event has basically been a break and run fest. But there was some terrific 10-ball played, and of course, if you want to improve your own bar table game, especially in 8-ball, you can certainly do well by pulling these up on YouTube and taking a good study at how these players go about getting out of trouble and moving little balls around here, breaking up a cluster, playing safe. It's as educational as being here. And I believe that certainly will also include the 4 one-pocket matches that we were able to do for you. And we had some great expert commentators helping us out there, Brian and Scott, like I said, and Corey sat in for a little bit at the tail end there too. So unfortunately for Mike, his scratch is going to cost him another rack, and Brian's going to be breaking in game number 3. So 2-0 for Brian Butler. Brian manufactures LED flat panels for pool tables, by the way. Very, very interesting. And if you'd like to find out more about that, you can contact Brian directly. You can send him an email at Brian_Butler, and that's Brian, B-R-I-A-N, _Butler at Hotmail. And he can give you all the details on his products. He also has a website that you can go to, and it's called design21.ca. Just the word design and the number 21.ca. And it also provides you with his toll-free number in Edmonton, Alberta. And he's been doing this 24 years. So some really interesting stuff to see there. Get out of there. Yep. Cue ball got kicked all the way down in that corner pocket, and the ball's all tied up here on the right-hand side. Now, Mike does have ball in hand anywhere. Remember, no more behind the line ball in hand with a scratch on the break. That rule changed 2 years ago. So let's see what Mike's choices are here. Going to require a little bit of thought here before you decide your group. Obviously, solids. The 7 you can get right to now, but the 2's a problem. And I don't see a way to open the 2 easily where it will have a pocket. The 13's next to the 2, so that's a problem if you take stripes. And then, of course, the 9 can easily be opened up off the 10. But you need to have a complete plan here to get all the way through the rack before you begin. Yeah, this might not be a bad choice. He might be able to get a lot done with this first shot as far as opening up the 2 and the 13 and moving the 7 out of the way, so he'll be access to the 15 ball. Okay, well, not bad, because he can still open the 13-2 off the 10 and have the 14 or the 12 there for some insurance. Ooh, he missed it. He caught the object ball a little thin, and it took the cue ball by the 2. He's got one more opportunity. He could do it right now off of the 15 and then possibly have the 12. And I don't see a better play than that. Hit the 2 right on the nose. That'll work. And the 8 will still pass. I'd shoot the 13 right now myself up in the corner. And then I'd play from the 12 to the 11. But just the 13's got a lot of balls around it. And you're right there. You may not get a better shot at it than now. But let's see how Mike decides to attack this. He might have been thinking about shooting the 12, drawing back, getting straight in on the 13, stop and shoot the 11, which would take him down table. But I like the 11 as the key ball to get to the 8. However, can he get all the way to the 14 if he plays the 13 first? Might go down there for it now, too. Nope. All right. If he got an angle here to go to the 14, that will be extremely well played and well thought out. Get 2 straight there. Ooh, not quite straight enough. Can he draw between the 8 and the 1 and bounce out and play the 8 in the same pocket as the 11? Nice shot. Nice shot, Mike. Nice out. That was well done. That was not easy. Even starting with ball in hand, he had a lot of things to think about, and he made a good plan. And he got rewarded with his first rack and a chance to tie the match up here, breaking in game number 4. Each man here is assured $700, and the winner will be assured at least $1,100. So 4 Benjis at stake here for the winner. And let's see if Mike can control the cue ball a little bit better this time. Oh no, gee, the poor guy. I mean, he slugged him. The cue ball was going nowhere near the pocket. It bent over to the side and got kicked in. And he exploded the rack. Boy, that's tough to fade when you go back to your chair after something like that, especially following a terrific run out. I might be inclined to start with the solids here and start with the 6 ball next to the 8. Go ahead and get the 6 and 5 out of there if you can. I don't know. I don't think the 8 goes over in the lower left. He could play it in the side, the left-hand side, and then get the 5 out. But obviously he's got enough room there to get in and then follow across for the 5 ball. And then that gets everything away from the 8. And it opens up both pockets. Oh, he overcooked that. Did he hit it too hard? No, I think he's all right. He sure didn't want to be quite this flat. I think his plan was to go to the 4 in the side and float down there for the 7. Got to stop in a hurry. Well, he's going to have to play the 2 ball. Which is all right, because it looks like there's a nice gap there between the stripes. He can stun over to access the 7 ball. I don't think he came far enough. Now he's going to have to really put a stroke on this. Well, you know, not that big of a stroke, just maybe center left, just come 2/3 of the way across the table and take your cut on the 7. Just clear the 13. There's a big gap there, but you got to stay down on this shot. boy. He hit it really well. Watch the cue ball. Okay. Nice out, Brian. Well done. When you have ball in hand following an opponent's scratch on the break, your first decision, of course, is usually the one that's going to lead you to running the rack out or causing you to stumble at some point. And he made the right choice. He picked the right group. He shot the right first shot, which was the 6 to get it away from the 8. And he wound up getting through the rest of them for a 3-1 lead and breaking in the 5th rack. Powerful break by Brian. Well, the 5-8 up there is the problem. He has one shot on a stripe, which would be the 9 in the side, or he's got to take the solids. Either way, the 5-8 needs to be opened up. And again, so this is a situation here where your initial decision will set the tone for how the rest of the rack unfolds. I honestly don't know what he's looking at. Tried to carom the 10. That's pretty much all I thought he could do, but table is still open now. The balls that went in stay down. The 8 is still a little bit of a problem, as is the 5. Mike's got his choice. If the 8 can bank cross corner, he might take the stripes and eventually play for that 8 that way. He can't really play the 10 on the side, move the 5. He wouldn't have a real good insurance ball. Pretty tough here. Still got to get that 8 open. Now's the time. Ooh, just barely missed the 5. Okay, he's going to shoot the 12, get the angle on the 13 to try to do the same thing. Move the 5, and the 10 would be the insurance ball. Would have liked a little more angle here. It's going to require a more of a power stroke now to create the angle. Going to have to kind of force the cue ball to the left rather than let the natural roll take it. But it's still the right shot, I believe. But you're going to have to split the cup with the 13. It can't catch the point at the speed he's going to hit it. Well, I guess he's going to wind up banking the 8 ball. And the 10 will get him there. He could try to run into the 5 off the 10. I think that might be asking for a little too much unless he's got enough confidence in his cue ball control to hit it with precision. Just doesn't look like to me he can get in there and make the 8. Uh-oh, he didn't bump it hard enough. Now he's got the bank. He would have had the bank anyway. Don't rush this, Mike. Kind of got down pretty quick there. Good shot. Another difficult out, successfully negotiated. Mike Helmer from Fort Collins, Colorado here. Breaking in rack number 6, trailing 3-2 in a race to 5 versus Brian Butler from Edmonton, Alberta. In the final 8 players of the 10-ball division here at the 21st U.S. Bar Table Championships at the Grand Sierra Resort in Reno. Looks like Mike's got a Predator BK2 there for his break cue. I failed to ask him what he is using as a playing cue. Watch the Whitey again. That's the same pocket he scratched in. That's twice now in that pocket out of 3 breaks. If the 13, which is down here on the foot rail, can be made, I would start with the 14 if it can go, and then get the 13 out of there, or maybe start with the 13 and bump the 14 into more open space. The reason for liking the stripes is the 2-ball. But it doesn't look like there's a pocket for the 14. That's the right place, Mr. Butler. Come one rail at the 14 with just enough speed to make sure the cue ball gets on one side or the other. Well, no, now he's looking at something else. He may go back to that. Still like his first thought. Well, now he's looking at the solids. And I suppose that's okay too. They all have pockets. It will be simply getting straight on the 5 to be able to play the 4. Well, that's not a good looking angle there. I'd stop there and play the 4 next. No. Good cue ball there. Really good cue ball there. Looks like the right-hand side for the 8. Well, maybe not. He might like it in the same pocket as the 4, but depends on whether he's going to hit the 13 or not here. Good work by Mr. Butler. He gets himself to the hill, and he's going to break for the match. Four two. Corey Doole's been watching this whole match from over in the left-hand side bleachers, sizing up a possible potential opponent, and also, I'm sure, trying to learn a little bit more about how the balls are breaking. And this break did not turn out well for either guy. Ryan's probably happy he didn't make a ball. I'm not sure he has anything he can shoot in a pocket. Mike's kind of smiling over there like, how did this happen? Looks like he's kind of tree trunk there right on the 2 ball, because there's nothing wrong with playing a safety either right out of the gate, but the only place I think he could put the cue ball and not really open up a shot would be up here underneath the 4. And I don't think he can get there. only other place to hide might be behind the 1. Just graze the 11. Might be looking at the 6-15 combination. I don't know. What good does that do you? Mike was just absolutely stuck there between a rock and a hard place. He wound up playing that 6-15 combination, and it was more of a Hail Mary than anything else. I still think it might have been more prudent to look for a way to hide. Not hide, but at least play safe. There was still too many clusters there where a run out by Brian would have been probably pretty difficult. I understand, you know, the thinking of the player at the table who's 4-2 down, trying to make something happen, but there just didn't seem to be anything there. And now the only ball that Brian has to deal with really is the 9, and I think he's going to try to move it right now. Not sure if that 9 goes through the 4-5 gap. That's what he was looking at. Oh. The 9 doesn't go, he's got to play to 15. If it looks really really tight here. But if it doesn't go, he's going to have to wind up moving something or getting behind it, and that's not going to be easy with all the stripes at the other end of the table. Oh, nice shot. That might be the match-winning shot. The 10 is also tight. table's been accepting these shots as long as it's not much more than pocket speed. And the work is still not done yet because he's going to have to come off of the edge of the 8 to play the 8 in the same pocket. Maybe he can miss the 8. That's going to be it. Really nice out here again by Brian. He's playing good. And a 5-2 victory for Mr. Butler. Mike Helmer with a 7th, 8th place finish, and nothing at all to be ashamed of or disappointed about. Coming through a field like this and finishing top 8 is a very, very good accomplishment. So we're next due up with you at 2:30. That's just a little bit over a half an hour. It'll be a 5th, 6th place match with players to be determined.